welcome to another episode of Go Get That Rose. We will be covering episodes 3 and 4 of Bachelor in Paradise. I'm your host, Sarah. So excited to be back and talk about this crazy mess of a show. With me, as always, is my co-host, J Wade.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It was insanity once again.
And I love every second of it.
Yeah.
So, before we start, I just wanted to congratulate Jared and Ashley on their beautiful wedding. It looked beautiful. I know it's something that a lot of Bachelor fans have been waiting for a long time. They've been very on and off, best friends, and it's just cool to see two people that really seem to love each other very much come out of this franchise and just kind of prove that it works for people. So best of luck to them. The wedding looked absolutely beautiful. So
I'm going to have to look up some pictures of the wedding and stuff. And see, I'm familiar with Jared and Ashley, but not at all from Bachelor. I know nothing about their experience on it. I know them from another show that Sarah and I watch, Collider Live, and they're friends with some of the crew there, and they've been on that show. So that's been my introduction to them. So my knowledge of them and getting to know them has been in a completely different forum than Bachelor. So yeah, I like those two, but I have no clue about their history on the show or anything like that.
Oh, their story is it's sweet. They started out as friends. She really liked him for like years. They just became best friends. He wasn't interested. And then I think they met on Bachelor in Paradise. They went on it 2 times, I believe. And then just like last year, I guess Jarrett realized that he loved Ashley. Very movie stuff, like very.
That's cool.
But yeah, or 2 years.
Yeah, good for them.
Years ago. Yeah, cool them. Best of luck to them, and hopefully some of our couples this season, same story for them. I'm not sure if it's going to happen, but one can hope.
Yeah. Except for Mike, we don't want Mike to find love because Mike. We want him to be Bachelor. So
sorry, Mike, don't find love. Well, we'll see.
We definitely want John Paul Jones to find love, although so far I don't see him doing anything other than just hanging out and having a good time. Like, he does not seem interested whatsoever in finding someone or anything like that.
I think he's just interested in finding someone so he can stay around.
Yeah, exactly. He's just
trying to make it to the next week.
He's like, whoa, like, oh, you want me to go to Mexico, man, and hang out on the beach? Oh, yeah. So he's just there to hang out and have a good time, which is perfectly fine. And it's really cool because we need him around for sure. I was iffy about it, but yes, I am now a John Paul Jones fan, and we need him on the show.
Well, we'll talk about the craziness of John Paul Jones.
Yeah, getting way ahead of myself.
No, I love him too. So well, just real fast, we had the conclusion of the rose ceremony from last week. I hate when the show does this. Instead of doing it all at once, they just leave it hanging. Yeah. It drives me nuts. But anyway, we had 3 women go home. I predicted all 3 of these women would go home, and I was right. So we had Jane go home, which is fine. We had Annalise and Bibiana, which is sad because they're the 2 alumni, and they went home the first week, which is...
I like Bibiana, or as I call her, short shit, which I say with all sincerity and all love. But that was just because I could never remember her name, and she was always just the short girl who was really into Clay.
Yes, but spicy little. I feel like
spicy thing.
I feel like we've seen more of Annalise and Bibiana before. They've been on Bachelor stuff a couple of times, and I feel like the show really did them a disservice this season because you didn't get to know them at all. Like, there weren't like introductions. Like, I don't know, like Bibiana was always like spicy and feisty, and she got in a couple of fights on her Bachelor season, and Elise was like crazy on her Bachelor season. On her season, she came out and said she has like a bumper car phobia and she's afraid of birds. Like, oh my God, this girl, she's nuts. Like, she's crazy. She got engaged last season and the guy broke up with her on the after the road. Like, she's been,
oh, wow.
They've both been through a lot, but like, this season, like there was like nothing. Like I felt like they didn't have really any personality, and that just makes me sad because I like them. But
so the perfect date you're saying for her, if I were to take her on the perfect date, would be renting a bumper car, going to a drive-in theater, and watching Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds.
Yes. And there was something about dogs too. Just look up, like, go on YouTube and just, I'm sure, like, there's clips of her. It's hilarious. Like, they did like
oh my gosh,
she's like talking about like how she had this bumper car incident, and then the show like flashes to like a little girl that's not her with like the bumper cars and like cry, like black and white. It's so good. It's so good. Like humor like that, I love. Speaking of humor, let's talk about the intros to
yes, for sure.
Bachelor.
The intros are some of the best parts so far.
I love Bachelor in Paradise because I feel like they are fully aware of how ridiculous this show is, and they'll just make fun of themselves and the people, and like all the intros are just kind of like self-referential, which I love. As opposed to like Bachelorette is like trying to be more serious, and people just watch it for like the drama. You know what I mean?
Right.
I love the intros. My favorite is, I think, Chris with he has the walker because he's been there the longest, so they're making him like the oldest person. I love that. I think that's so funny.
He's a great sport. You know, a lot of guys wouldn't do that because they'd be like, man, you know, just make me look old, make me look bad. Totally a good sport.
Also, he's like 31. Like he's the same age, or I think like he's like in his 30s, like the same age as Blake. Like he's not old. Like I just think that's so funny. I'm like, he's not old at all. Like,
but it does make sense. So it plays well.
Yeah,
but like on that on the Collider Live that we listened to yesterday, they were talking about those intros and just completely knocking on Blake's and his little I'm the cool guy kind of thing with his gyration with his arms. I think gyration is the only acceptable or proper word for whatever he does.
When they kept cutting back to him like later in the episode to like dancing, he's like dancing in the hot tub or whatever. I was dying. I was like,
oh man,
this poor boy. Like, and I think it's the funniest thing that like Blake's 31. Like he's not like 20, like 4. Like you would expect like. Yeah, Blake is like 30. Like,
dude, I thought he was like a mid-20s frat boy, like straight out of college frat boy.
He's like 31. Like
my gosh.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's like, I mean, age is just a number. Like, whatever, you can act older or younger, it doesn't matter. But I'm just like, Blake, like, sweetie, like. It's like he's trying to be hip, like he's trying to be cool, like doing like the Fortnite dances. I'm like, what is he doing?
Right. But he's far too goofy to be cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like now
there's like, some guys who can pull off both,
like
but he can't.
Did that, or like Clay, or like Jordan, like someone like that that's like can make fun of themselves.
Yeah.
You know, like that's fine. But Blake's like trying to take himself away, like like he's trying to be ironic with it, like not trying to be cool. Like he's like, oh, look at my dance. Like it's so funny.
But then there's the girl toward the end who can't remember her name, but she does the same kind of little thing, but it's even worse.
And
like puts her hand on her hip or something. Brunette, yeah.
Well, Nicole, the Spanish one, or
oh, it's not her.
Sydney.
It might be Sydney.
So she's actually a professional. She's an NBA dancer.
Oh no! It's not her because she's the one that like does the splits.
The split, yeah. Hers makes sense. Like that's her.
Yeah, this is a girl after her. Is there like Katie or something? A brunette?
Yeah. Oh well, that's the one with the hazel eyes, Katie.
Oh, that's not the one I'm thinking of then.
Oh. Well, that's funny too.
Anyway, she
Katie
does some really weird
dancer,
thing.
So.
All right, she does this really weird thing, and it's totally comparable to Blake. I mean, like maybe they should hook up. I think they would probably be a better match.
No. So we lost 3 girls, but this week the girls have the roses. They have the power, and with that we get 4 new men that come in, and we're just going to go over each man one by one and talk about the drama that came around all of them. So first up, we have King of Paradise, the Mayor of Paradise. My man Jordan comes back.
Oh, he owns that beach. That's his beach.
that's his move. So what are your thoughts on Jordan? Like, initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts. I'm glad you put it that way because my thoughts changed and developed over the course of the show.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah. My initial thoughts were, this guy's a complete douchebag. I'm not going to like him. Just because of his hyper and his whole this is my beach kind of thing. That just kind of got on my nerves. I went to school with guys like him. And it just flashbacks, man. Terrible flashbacks of the locker room and the library, the corner in the library where the librarian couldn't see. But then as it developed a little bit more, I was like, okay, this guy's great because he's not taking himself serious.
No.
He is coming in here as a character.
Yes.
You know, he's not coming in as Jordan. This is me. I'm Jordan. I'm going to play the game as me. He's like, man, I'm Jordan, and I just made a crazy character because I get the feeling that he is a lot like he is in reality, or like he is in the show, you know. But
yes.
I have a good feeling that he's toned down a lot more in real world. So, but then I was like, okay, I really like this guy. And then as the show progressed, my feelings changed a little bit more again, and we'll get into that later too. But what about you? I mean, I know you're familiar with him, but like his entrance into here, what do you think?
It's hard to like separate because I did watch Jordan he was on Becca's Bachelorette season, and I didn't really like him on that season. He came off very not the way he's coming off now. Like, he came off very full of himself. I mean, like, he is a male model, like an actual male model, and he would flaunt that. And then he was on Bachelor in Paradise last season, and that's when I started to really like him. I don't know. I thought he came in, he cracks me up. He's great TV. I think he's so funny. Yeah. He just cracks these one-liners. They're just so funny. But I think, like, I really like Jordan because he was on the show the entire time last season. He got engaged. Like, he mentioned it. Like, he got engaged to this girl, and then there's a scandal that came out afterwards, and, like, he got his heart broken. But, like, he really opened up on the show last season talking about, like, that if he was going to propose to one girl, that was it. He wasn't going to propose twice. Like, he only wanted to get married once. Like, I think he said his parents were divorced, or, like, he really went into, like, all this stuff and how he's insecure about, like, love and all this different stuff. So it really made me, like, I really respect him, and I really, like, I feel like sometimes kind of like what Demi kind of opened up, like, how she puts on, like, this, not a character, but puts on, like, this face and this, like, funny and this kind of girl. And I think Jordan does the same. It's like a block, like a barrier to, like, protect himself. Sure. But I feel like more than, like, Blake, I think Blake's just trying to be the cool guy and trying to be like that and say funny things. Like, I feel like Jordan's sincere in all his being able to make fun of himself and being able to say crazy things and do crazy. And I think, like, and we will talk about at the end of the episode, he does take things too far, and that definitely happened last season. He definitely gets heated fast and takes things way too far sometimes, and that can kind of be a red flag. But I really like him. I hope he sticks around for a while. He's great TV. I mean, we have him, John Paul Jones, and Demi, like, doing these things. Yeah. Like, I think he's so funny.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I stand for Jordan. But so Jordan comes, he has a date card, and he starts talking to some of the different girls. I just want to say, I don't understand why all these guys are going after Hannah. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. She is not attractive to me on any level whatsoever.
She's a really pretty girl. Like, she's cute. And
I don't know. Hey man, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and I'm not saying she's ugly or anything. But I'm just saying,
not your type.
She's not my type, man.
I think. Well, like I said, I think it's because she's the stereotypical ideal of, like, beauty. Like, she's short, blonde, long blonde hair, big, beautiful, like, I think they're blue eyes, like, or brown. I don't know. Like, she has these big eyes. Like, I think that's, like, the stereotypical, like, Barbie doll beauty look.
She's a toothpick.
Yeah, she is really thin, and she has,
Yeah.
like I said, she has no boobs, which is fine. I mean, that's okay.
Yeah, that's
But
fine.
but
But I
I
mean, she's
anyway,
just really extremely skinny, though, which is off-putting to me. I want some
she's
meat on the
really
bones,
thin.
girl. Come on, eat some freaking meat, girl. She looks like she's an extreme hardcore vegetarian or something.
I don't know. I feel like she could be the type that like can chow down though. Like she eats a lot, but she has like a fast metabolism. That might be the case. Like
That might be it. But she's just a toothpick.
yeah, I just don't know. Like there's, I don't know. But anyway, so Jordan talks to her. Jordan ends up asking her out on the date, and she says yes. But then I think she handled herself very well by saying, no, and just saying that she can't date more than two people.
Well, then why did she even go on the date? Didn't she kind of blow a chance for some other girl?
Well, she didn't go on it. Well, she didn't go on the date.
Oh, she did. Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, he took Nicole. Well, you could tell like when he asked her, like she was kind of hesitant, and she was like, "I just want to I want to have fun." And he was like, "Yeah, we'll have fun." Like you could tell, like she wasn't like, "Yeah, sure," and then changed her mind. Like, you could tell she wasn't really into it. Like,
yeah, that's right.
I think
because when he asked Nicole, the bear, the
Clay.
short shits bear. That's
Clay.
just how I will always remember those two.
Bear.
Clay is the bear and Bibiana is short shit.
Oh my gosh. But I mean, we could kind of jump right into it. I think just a little bit about Hannah's love triangle since we're talking about her.
Oh.
I respect Hannah a little bit in the sense that I feel like she's in a tough situation, and I'm not saying that like she definitely put herself in this situation by wanting to date Derek and wanting to date Dylan and wanting to date Blake, especially since we come to find out that they talked like a week before he went out and saw her, like a week before they came on Paradise. So there was that history and stuff there. But she has been respectful, and she has been upfront with Dylan saying like, I want to try and see options with other people. And the other person is Blake. Like, she's not going around dating a whole bunch of guys. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she has been upfront with every single person. Like, with Will's, like, she was upfront that it wasn't going to work out. And with Jordan, she was upfront. Like, she has been, like, upfront and has said, like, this is hard for me. Like, I'm trying to figure all this out. I think the problem is, like, I think she really does like Dylan a lot. And I just think, like, it's hard when we don't know what happened with her and Blake when they met up, like if they had sex or if they did, or if it was just talking. Like, we don't really know. So I'm sure she's kind of feeling like, I don't want to let this thing go with Blake and he be the one, even though I have Dylan here who has told me he's here for me. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I think like she's not my favorite, but also like I still think she's handling it kind of well. Like, she isn't like talking shit about Dylan or talking shit about Blake to like either person, or even when like Tayshia came up to her and was like kind of yelling at her, like she was still respectful and she hasn't been talking about the other girls. Like, I don't know, like I think she's okay. She's not my favorite person.
No, all right. I'm sorry, Sarah. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, go off.
I've sat here and I've listened to this nonsense for long enough.
Well, that's my point of view. So
I know. I respect that. I think she and Blake are both terrible people, terrible human beings. I really do think so. They're both definitely emotionally manipulative. That's for sure, especially Blake.
For sure. I think
Hannah. Okay, so they knew, Hannah and Blake, a week before they went, they both knew that they were going to Bachelor in Paradise.
Yes.
So I don't know. I don't know how to explain how I feel and what I'm thinking about this, but if they both knew, then them meeting up a week before they went, that's really tainting the process for everyone else.
Yes.
And that's and to me that like last week I had said that I completely respect and appreciate how upfront Hannah is. Now I'm learning, no, she's not upfront whatsoever.
She really wasn't.
She's jerking everybody around. She's selfish. she just, I can't stand her. She's a disgusting person, in my opinion.
Oh, no.
Yeah, for real, man. Dude, this is, whether it's a game or not, okay, whether it's a contest or not, she knows how Dylan feels about her. And she has been stringing him along and jerking him along this entire time.
I don't think she's stringing him on. Like, I think she really does have feelings for him.
Well, don't you think he has a right? He would have had a right to know that they hooked or that they met up a week before they went there.
Yes,
Maybe that would make him change his mind from the very get-go and be like, she's obviously confused and I'm not confused, but if she is, then I'm going to look for someone else. Hannah's being selfish and she's stripping other people, not just Dylan, but she's stripping everyone else of opportunities to hook up and meet with people because she's wanting to play her secret little game of having both of these guys.
I don't think she's as manipulative as you're saying that. Like,
I'm not saying she's like sitting back going, this is my master plan, like clicking her fingers.
Like Taser called her like
together.
the puppeteer master.
See, I don't know about that. That's a little bit too far. But I think she wants, I can't explain what I'm trying to say. Like I said, I don't think she's sitting there planning this out.
Yes.
But she's keeping things from Dylan because she knows that might mess that up, and she doesn't want that because she one of these guys is a fallback plan for her.
Yes.
Already. And that's what I'm saying. She needs to be upfront with everyone. That's how real, honest relationships build, off of a solid foundation. And she purposely kept this from Dylan, that she and Blake had met up a week before the show started, because she wanted to keep him around. I compare that to Jed keeping that shit from Hannah because he was saying he was afraid that would make her leave him. It's the same exact thing. She's playing him. I can't stand that. I feel so bad for Dylan. So bad. Man, I feel bad for that guy.
No, yeah, I see what you're saying. I definitely do think it does seem like she's way into Blake and is just kind of keeping Dylan around, like, as a backup plan. Like, 'cause she knows, like, Blake has screwed over all these girls. So it's kind of like Dylan's super into her. It's obvious. Like, he's been up front with her. He's that sweet guy. Like, I feel like he's the guy that always gets, like, friend zoned. Like, he's really sweet. Yeah. And, like, yeah, I definitely see. I just don't think I don't think she's intentionally doing this. Like, I don't feel like she's like...
that she intentionally kept that from Dylan?
No. I think she intentionally kept that from Dylan, but I don't think she's like, I'm going to keep Dylan around as a backup plan. Like, I think she really does like Dylan, and I just think, like they say, like, the nice guy always finishes last. Like, I think, like, she really likes Dylan, and I think Dylan's a safe bet. And I think in her head, like, she's being pursued by Blake, who's a little bit edgy and a little bit no one else likes him right now, and you know what I mean? Like, I think, like, so, like, I don't know, I can't explain. It's a thing that girls do. It's the same thing with Hannah and keeping Luke around for so long when we knew Luke wasn't good for her, but she still had this thing for him. Like, I feel like it's kind of the same thing where, like, we know Dylan's the best option for Hannah, and I'm sure Hannah knows that, but there's still something that she has for Blake. I'm not saying she definitely should have been up front with Dylan and said from the beginning, hey, we met up, like, outside of this, that's why he's so intent on me or whatever. Like, she should have been up front and she should have been honest about that, and it's definitely a mistake. But I just don't think she's like, I'm just going to keep him around. I think she really does she likes both of them. I think she's just confused.
I think she really likes him too, but I'm just, the fact that she hid it from him, I'm sure it had to be because, like, again, comparing to the Jed thing, she was afraid that he would get upset and then move on to someone else. And that in my mind, I cannot.
And that is selfish.
That is wrong. That's, selfish is a great word for that. But I'm not down for that, man. But I'm also more conservative in my views as far as commitment and stuff, that I don't understand how you could like how you could, and I do this in quotations, like more than one person anyway. I don't understand how that works. I don't understand how you can be comfortable making out with more than one person in one day or
I
2
don't get
days
that,
or 3 days. I just so much about this is, and I'm not knocking these people who are on this show, like their way of thinking about relationships and all this stuff. That's fine. To each their own. I'm just, from where I sit, it does not make sense to me. So it's all that intensifies the crazy level of everything, which makes it that much more enjoyable as a viewer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll have more to talk about as the time goes on with
Oh
Hannah.
yeah, this Hannah and Blake and Dylan thing is not going away.
Oh no, it will be there until the very end. But so just to kind of wrap up on Jordan, and so Jordan just ended up taking Nicole out on the date.
Yeah.
Which came my favorite moment of their date was when the guy Jorge says that exact spot is where he lost his virginity was hilarious.
Yes, so funny. And he heavily implied that they should get down
so
too.
Good.
Yes,
it's so good. I don't think Nicole and Jordan, obviously, as we see later, I don't think they're going to be together. But I hope Jordan finds someone. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
But next, we have mixed feelings about this person walking on the beach. But we had Mike come down.
Yes, Mike.
Oh my God.
I don't know if I was more excited to see him walk out on the beach or that magnificent smile of his. It was so great.
He is so tall. He really is.
Yeah.
Huge. I was like, oh my God. All those girls were like, oh my God, it's Mike. Like, they were all into him. Like,
but that was you too, wasn't it? Sitting there watching TV like,
I was like, hello, Mike. He has a nice smile. Oh my goodness. They are setting him up perfect to be Bachelor. Yeah. Like, I'm going to be so upset if this doesn't happen. Like,
me too.
I'm going to be so sad. Like, he's great. He starts talking to a few girls, and he takes Kaylin out on the date.
Tell me that was not intentional because he found out that Cam had given her a rose, and because of their history on Bachelorette with Hannah B.
Yeah. So here, okay, great segue. Here's the thing, and so Mike and Cam were both on Hannah B's season. Both on the season were like, I'm here for, I think Cam said it, but I'm sure said like, I'm here for you, Hannah. Like, I'm really glad you're the Bachelorette. So like Hannah and Kaylin have beef. Like, they're both on Colton season. There was a big thing. Like, they do not like each other. They know each other outside of this world from like pageants and stuff. Like, they do not like each other at all. They're not friends or anything. So for like Cam to say like, I came on the show for Kaylin, I wanted her to be the Bachelorette, to later go on and say like he loved Hannah and all this stuff is kind of like that's like, okay. And then to see like Mike be like, Kaylin's beautiful, she's stunning, like I'm definitely here for her and all this stuff is kind of like, so we're gonna lie into Hannah, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just weird. Like, it's like that's the only thing I was kind of like, okay, Mike, like, where do you stand? Like, if it was anyone else, I'd be like, that's cool, but like, it's Kaylin, and there was all this drama, and there's all this drama with Kaylin. It's kind of like, that's another one where I'm like, I don't get why people are all over Kaylin. Like, she just seems... Also, like, Kaylin's my age, and which is crazy to me to think about. Like, we're the same age, and like, I don't know, like, it definitely shows sometimes. So like, she definitely shows her age in the way that she reacts to situations. I don't react that way, so I'm just kind of like, okay, girl. But I mean, whatever. That's just making me feel good. But anyway, so I don't know, like, so I just want to jump that into my other favorite moments of the episode is sweet Cam. I love Cam so much just for the entertainment value of Oh my god, he read her this thing saying that like he's here for her
Yeah, oh my
and the
gosh.
taste of the jalapeno on her lip and how like the one point he was like, it's me and Kate, I'm 100% sure I'm going to be proposing to Kaylin at the end of this. And I'm just like, oh my god, like and she is not into it. Like,
Oh no, not at all.
Oh, it's so funny. Like she's like, like she was not into it. And I think that's why, like, when you said like, do you think Mike asked her out? I really do think. I think he asked her out because she did say like, oh yeah, like kind of something with Cam, and he did have kind of beef with Cam.
Yeah, and he had that look on his face too, like his ears perked up like a dog when he heard that. Like, oh, I've got an idea.
I think he really did like Kaylin. Like, I really do think he was attracted to Kaylin, but I think the fact that like Cam was trying to move in on her just made it 1,000% better for him. He was like, oh well, I'm definitely taking her. Like, oh my god, I just love Oh, Cam, I feel so bad.
I love all these little petty moves that people make. So funny. You know what I mean? It is so great. Because, see, when I, and I say again, that the Hannah B's season of Bachelorette was my first experience with the franchise. And that was so, well, I mean,
nuts.
They tried to be serious.
Crazy.
Well, yeah, it was crazy, but it was more serious as far as the relationship and shit like that. But then... So I'm expecting this to be serious. This is not serious whatsoever. So each week here so far, the last 2 weeks, my viewing experience and the way I view it is changing, and I like it because I'm now starting to get into that place of, okay, these are characters.
Yes,
and
exactly.
This is, it's just absolutely great.
It's so, because like they're given the freedom to like be themselves and not have to like perform or act a certain way. You know what I mean? Like they're free to just, and plus like they're pumping them full of just alcohol. Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, like that comes up.
I'm so sorry. Since you brought that up, before I forget, I saw Haley's fiance, and again, for those who weren't here last week, that's what I'm going to call him, Wells. I refer to him as Haley's fiance because he's engaged to
Wells. Okay.
Sarah Hyland. But Sarah Hyland, so I don't confuse people. Sarah Hyland's fiance, the bartender Wells. Wow. I saw him pouring a beer last night.
Oh my god, I forgot we were supposed to be on alcohol watch. Okay.
Yeah, I saw him handle a bottle of beer.
I still have a theory that he just does the simple drinks and there's someone off like doing like the difficult ones.
Yeah, I would love to talk to him and ask him all about his bartending experiences there. Gosh. But anyway, sorry, go ahead. When you brought up the alcohol, I was like, I saw him to handle a bottle of beer.
So I don't really have anything else. I mean, I hope Mike finds love. I kind of feel like he might be going home soon.
Me too.
Which is crazy because when he walked in, all these girls are like, "Oh my god, Mike!" But it doesn't seem like anyone's like hooking up with, like connecting with him, which is driving me nuts. But at the same time, I'm also like, Mike for Bachelor. Like,
yes.
I wonder if the producers are telling them like, "Hey, like, don't hook up with Mike."
See, that's another thing I want to know, too, is stuff. I want to know how involved and how much influence the producers have.
So much.
But...
so much. Like, I would love to talk to a producer, and I mean, like, I'm sure we can make that happen at some point. But I don't really have much about Mike. Before we get to the other two guys, I just want to talk about, since we talked about alcohol, I want to talk about that Katie and Will's moment.
Oh, wow.
Girl straight crying in the club. You're texting me and you're like, what's going on? And I'm like, she's drunk out of her mind.
Yeah, I'm like, she's crying. I can't understand what she's saying because she's crying so much. I mean,
it was so good.
And I'm like, what is going on? I can't imagine how Will's felt.
You could tell he was just in his head. He was like, "Oh my god!" I feel like he's thinking like, "I just dodged a bullet." Like with this. Like,
yes, very good point.
She's like, "You're just a great guy." Like she's straight doing the drunk girlfriend thing. Like, oh my god, I was living for it. It was
dude.
so good. It was so funny. She's like, and then she's like walking away, like crying, and everyone's asking her like, "What's wrong?" And she's like, "I just had to break up with the sweetest guy," and like crying. And they're like, "What are you talking about? Like,
Yeah.
what's happening?" Like,
What?
so good, so good.
Man.
Oh my gosh. So the last night's episode, we get two more guys come in. The next guy that comes in is Dean. Now Dean is like really old. Like, I mean not old, but I mean like he's from like Rachel's season, like 2 years ago. Like he's old in the Bachelor world. That's what I mean. He's not like
Thank you
old.
very much. My feelings were starting to get extremely
hurt.
hurt.
He's like 28. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
I'm just
shot
kidding.
through the heart.
I'm just kidding. I think he's like 26. I don't know. What do you think of Dean?
Well, I will say right now that I wrote his name down in my notes as Dean Stash.
Yes,
because that mustache is amazing on
it's
two
like a porn
levels.
stash.
Well, yeah, oh yeah. I was going to say on two levels. One, it's amazingly awesome because it's a killer porn stash, and two, it's amazingly terrible because it's a porn stash. But on both levels, it's amazing.
So
I like this guy. He's definitely a character too.
Oh yeah. I was a huge fan of Dean when he was on Rachel's season. Like, I really liked him. And I didn't watch his Bachelor in Paradise season with him and the other girl, Christina, the one that's like the like Russian Southern girl or whatever.
She's great.
Yeah, they had a love triangle their last Bachelor in Paradise. Like, so I didn't really watch that going on. But I would say Dean is definitely the guy I'd probably go for if I was on this show. And Dylan, but just because Dylan's sweet. But just because, like, when Dean said that he was living out of his van, like, he's like, I live in my van. That's, I mean, like, legit, that's something me and my husband are talking about, like, transforming a van so we can travel around the country. So I'm like, yes, Dean, like, I'm all for it. I'm like, that's awesome. Like, that's so cool. And you can tell these girls are like,
like, yeah, which one was it asked him about?
It was Kaylin.
Kaylin
was like, so how do you shower? And he's like, oh, you know, like a friend's house, a gym, a river, anywhere that's water. And her face is like, oh my God. Like,
yeah.
That was so good. So Dean like starts talking to some of the girls, and he takes Kaylin out on a date. Now, apparently, I guess there's some rumors going around that they actually also talked before the show. So they know. I mean, like, all these people basically kind of know each other, just because like they do events, like they do different events and stuff before Bachelor in Paradise. So they all kind of like meet each other anyway. So like some of them know each other in passing. But I guess like they actually met up. Like he's been around in the family. Like he's like best friends with Jared. And he has like a podcast. Like he's like in the Bachelor Nation bubble. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's still popular. So I'm sure they've met, but I guess like she's really, really into him, which I don't know. I'm not the biggest Kaylin fan. I just think, I mean, obviously, I think she's just still immature. Which is crazy because I just said like we're the same age and I'm just like she's so immature. Like I don't know. Like I just think like she has a lot going on. I feel like she's that type of girl that has always been the prettiest girl in the room. So when there's other like girls, like she just freaks out. I mean, like on the show last night, she called Christina like a stupid bitch, like for no reason. And I'm just like, girl, like her insecurities come out, and I don't know. Like she's not my favorite person. But I feel like they're gonna be a couple for the rest of the show. That's just
that should be interesting to watch unfold too.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm sure there's gonna be more drama with him and with Christina. We'll see. But so then the last guy that came and that brought a lot of the drama, before we just talk about some of our other favorite moments, is Christian, who went home the first night of Becca's season. So he was on the show with Jordan, went home the first night, I don't think he's cute at all. Like, all these girls are like, oh my
What?
God, no,
Sarah,
ew, no.
he is a Mexican dreamboat.
Oh no, I think he's really ugly. Like,
Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Make him the greatest Christian I've ever seen.
No,
dude, oh man.
No.
Oh,
I don't see
Sarah,
it.
dude, what?
I don't
Dude.
know. Oh my God, I did not.
He's hotter than Mike.
No,
I did not just say that. I take that back. He's the second
not.
hottest guy.
Absolutely not. I don't know. Like, I just don't think, like, all these girls were swooning over him. They were like,
oh
my God, like, I hope he talks to me. I was like, ew. Like,
talk about a piece of man meat coming in the room, dude. Those girls were just like, yeah.
I just don't like guys that are that, like, I don't know. Like,
he is very arrogant.
Oh yeah. So he right away is like, Nicole, let's go. Like, I think that's the only girl he talked to. Poor Clay. Like, I feel bad. But so they go. So I think Nicole's kind of doing the same. Well, no, maybe it's not the same because she didn't know Clay or Christian before the show. Never mind. I was gonna say she's the same.
Well, maybe she did. We're finding out all these people hooked up.
Maybe she did. But like, they go and they have a date and they're like making out and all this stuff. You can tell, like, I think Nicole really likes Clay, obviously, because like, I think they have like a deeper emotional connection. But I think, like, Christian, like, he's hot and sexy. I don't think so, but like, he's acting like hot and sexy and like speaking Spanish to her and like knows what he wants and is very upfront about like how he's like complimenting her and saying she's beautiful. Like, he's definitely seems like that guy that you meet when you go to Miami or you go on spring break and you meet this guy that's like trying to flirt you up for one night. Like, that's what he seems like to me. Like, like, Clay seems like he could be relationship material and Christian's like one night stand or maybe like a hot couple month fling, but nothing like serious.
I'd go more with the couple month fling. That would be a lot more fun.
I mean, like, I want the best for Nicole, and I think Nicole is great. She keeps referring to herself as the Bachelorette of Paradise. I'm like, you go, girl, you go after it. Like, I love it. But what do you think of Christian?
Yeah, as far as looks, he's a strapping man. Okay, but yeah, as far as personality goes, he's just blah. I mean, really though, he comes off like just such an arrogant dog kind of, and not like dog in like a Blake kind of a way, but a different kind of dog, like a really cute dog that is subtle about wanting to chew on your slippers, whereas Blake just runs around like a madman chewing on your slippers right in front of you.
Blake's a golden retriever. He's just like, ah!
But yeah, I mean, as far as personality and stuff, I'm not a big fan of his. He's way too cocky and full of himself. And
so I've seen all these people tweeting about him saying that he's like toxic masculinity, which I wouldn't go that far. I don't know. Like, I feel like he's not getting a great edit. Like, I just feel like he's very confident about himself, which is fine. Like, to the point of arrogance. I did not like the way that he was talking. Like, I mean, I get, like, he was, like, cutting in, like, on Clay.
Yeah.
And, like, I get that. Like, that's the name of the game. Like, that's what this is. Like, I understand. But I didn't like the way, like, he was kind of, like, talking for Nicole. Like, I don't like it when men do that. And Blake and Dylan were doing the same. Like, Blake was doing it, and it was driving me nuts. And I'm like, that's a red flag, where he's like, just let her be. Because that's what Luke P. did all last season. Like, you just oh, this is what the girl, like, saying, like, this is how she's feeling, this is what she wants. It's like, no, like, you don't know that, you don't know her. And like, Christian was like doing that a lot, and especially with how we ended the episode with Clay. I thought Clay was very respectful, like, won over, and like, Nicole did tell him she wanted him to be a bit more aggressive.
Yeah, she did.
Honest, like, what do you think about that? Like, what do you think about her telling Clay, like, I want you to be more aggressive?
I don't like it because she's basically trying to groom him into what she wants him to be.
Yes.
And I don't like that. Either you like the man for who he is and what he brings to the table now, or you don't, but don't try to make him into what you want.
Because, like, that wasn't an issue before Christian arrived. Do you know what I mean?
No,
Like, she wasn't like, oh, I wish you were more aggressive. Like, it was once Christian was, like, actively pursuing her, then she was like, oh, I wish Clay was, like, trying to get...
Yeah.
I feel like she was trying to find a reason to kind of, like, not leave
Wants
Clay.
men to fight over her, basically.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't know. Like, that's not my personal...
And I've never fought over a girl because of, like I stated, she either likes me or she doesn't. And if she doesn't, then cool. There are other girls out there, and one of them does like me for who I am. So
I feel like that might be the same as Hannah, where I wonder if Hannah wants Dylan to kind of fight for her, but Dylan's like, I'm not going to fight for you. Like, I've been open about this is what I want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's probably what it's going to come down to. But I mean, that's backtracking. But I mean, so we end the fight. I mean, we end the fight. We end the episode
night with a fight.
With a fight, kind of. I was like, we're not going to get another rose ceremony. Are you kidding me? Like,
I know.
So angry. But they ended on the fight, and that was great.
Which continues next week, and I can't wait.
Oh, it's going to be great. Do you think they're going to kick Christian off, or do you think they'll keep him for the rose ceremony? Like, do you think that?
I think they'll definitely keep him for the rose ceremony because that brings about drama, therefore higher ratings.
Yeah, they're not going to be like.
I don't think he's going to get a rose, though. I think he's showing that he's a dick. You know what I mean?
He flipped that. Like, Jordan, like, went over and was like kind of joke, like, I'm doing this for Clay, like I'm doing this for my buddy, and like was kind of like joking around, taking it down, and he like freaked, like he was like grabbing him and like like it just went way too far, way too fast. Like,
but that was Jordan's bad though. Jordan that was not his situation to get in the middle of.
No, but he does that, and that's one of Jordan's faults. Is that, I mean, he did it all last season. Like, he was just inserting himself in situations. But I also think, like, at that point, like, Christian shouldn't have responded that way. Like, he shouldn't have.
I agree.
He went from 0 to 100, like, really fast.
A real man, dude, in my opinion, a real man would have laid there with Nicole and watched him done that, not said a word, and when the guy walked away, looked at her and been like, what was that about?
Yeah, because honestly, like, that's making Jordan look like a jerk. Like, that's not putting Jordan in a good light. Like, he should have just laid there and been like, well, that sucked, but then that would have been better than him getting up and fighting. Like, I would be turned off by that. Like, dude, it's a piñata, and you freaking threw this guy on the ground over a piñata? Like, I don't know. Like, I was like...
Well, I wonder if she will be put off by that, though, with her encouraging Clay to be more aggressive. And I mean, I think that will be off-putting for her, but I don't know that. I don't know. But yeah, last night I'm laying in bed and I'm like, man, I got to wait a week to watch the rest. I'm like, dude, this sucks.
So before we wrap up, I just want to talk about some of our like random favorite moments of the episode. And our favorite, JPJ, had some great moments last night. He fell asleep in the pool. Yeah,
I mean, snoring fell asleep. It was insane.
That did not look comfortable. Like, he had like his arms out, and I was like, dude, how are you sleeping like this?
Yeah, like laying over a wall, like a pool that's up higher. Laying over a wall with his hands hanging in another pool. But he was rocking those Z's.
My favorite moment was on, like, the camera was on, like, the day bed, like, on the two pillows, and, like, you couldn't tell, like, how big the pillows were, so they just looked like normal, like, couch pillows, and then they move, and he's, like, laying under them. Yeah. I was like, oh, my God. And then I forget who it was, like, someone, I think it was Cam and Anya, I don't know, it was someone, and they come over, and he's like, shh, like, don't tell anyone I'm here. Like, I'm trying to learn this poem.
See, I thought, okay, when he's like, don't tell anyone I'm here, and he had something in his hand, it must have been a pen, an ink pen, but I thought he was laying there smoking a joint, hiding and smoking a joint. And I'm like laughing so hard. I'm like, yeah, go, dude. And then I realized what was really going on, and it was even better than him hiding, smoking a joint.
I was so upset at first. I'm like, why is this guy laying under the like couch cushions. Like, he needs to go and like get a rose. Go get that rose, JPJ.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? And then when he's like, I'm trying to learn Shakespeare because I want to quote it to Tasha. I'm like, you go, man. Like, I support you.
Yeah, and everyone was making fun of him for it, but she ate that up.
Oh my! I can't tell if she's really into him. I mean, like, she would have no reason not to be, because she's giving him like, she has the power. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
she was into it. I mean, like, I would be too. I was like, go ahead, quote Shakespeare, boy. Like, go ahead. Like,
didn't really quote it very well,
No.
but I mean, bless him for trying.
I loved it. I was like, oh my god, it's so good. It was so sweet.
Yeah, it was sweet. Definite A for effort there.
A for effort. Anything that really stood out to you the rest of these episodes that we didn't cover?
Absolutely, yes.
Oh,
my
man.
favorite part, hands down, that I did not want to end was Demi and Jordan hanging out and making fun of people. I swear, I want them to do a podcast together so bad.
That was so funny.
Oh, it was the best. It was the best. I did not want it to end. That was the best part of the night for me.
It was also great because, like, they haven't met until this, but, like, they did not like each other. I don't know, like, I guess, like, Jordan did not like Demi when she was on Colton season, and, like, said not great things about her. So there was, like, tension there. But it seems like once they met, like, they just have great chemistry, like friendship chemistry. Like, they were funny. They were great.
Oh,
I
yeah.
could definitely see them doing a podcast. Like, after.
That would be great. Like, about pop culture and current events and just making fun of it would be great. A great podcast for them, I think.
So that's also a good segue into, like, the last, I guess, important thing I have to say was just Demi did, like, kind of say to Derek, like, she was dating a girl and is kind of still dating a girl, which, all right. They're not supposed, like, that kind of bothers me because, like, they're not supposed to be dating anyone when they come on the show, but they kind of just let it slide as far as, like, well, it's a girl and we really want Demi on the show and we can hit 2 stones. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like,
they were like, man, we'll bring the girl on later.
And I think they are.
I think Winston was telling us that last week. I think he's spot on.
It's going to be the girlfriend. But I just think it was important. I think, like, her talking to Katie, talking about, like, her insecurities, and it felt very real. I mean, as far as a reality show can go, and I think Derek really did handle the situation kind of well. It was like, I still want to get to know you. I still want to hang out. Like, that's fine. It also does. It kind of bothers me how everyone keeps saying, this is just personal, like, everyone keeps saying, like, oh, it's the first time we're seeing someone that's bi, or, like, a bi relationship, and I'm in Bachelor history, and I'm like, well, on Bachelor Australia, on Bachelor Paradise Australia, they had a bunch of girls go on dates and stuff like that. So I'm like, it's not the first time, but I get it, whatever. Like,
right.
It's fine. But
the one thing I really liked about how Derek took Demi's telling him about dating the girl and all that is that he did not do that thing where a lot of guys do that. Oh man, yeah, she's into girls. I'm totally down with that.
Yeah.
You know, he took it like a real human being would, whereas it doesn't matter what gender it is, it's the emotional connection.
Yeah.
And that, you know, for him, it didn't matter that it was another woman. It just was someone other than him that she was emotionally connected with.
Yes.
I liked that about him in his response.
I agree. I think that really shows maturity of him, that he wasn't like, oh, it's a girl. Like, it wasn't like he felt, like, threatened or, like, insecure. Like, you know, like, I feel like maybe, like, maybe Blake or maybe someone, I don't know, that would be, like, that's not really secure, would be like, oh my god, like, it's another, it was just kind of like, oh, it's this other person. And it didn't even feel like he was, like, that worried either. Like, he just seemed very, like, that's cool, but, like, we're here, like, let's just keep getting to know each other, let's just keep hanging out. Like, he said, and I think he said, like, I'm cool to take things slow, like, I don't need he did, like, lead the show engaged when he was on a couple seasons ago, so I'm sure, like, he's learned a lot and he's not, like, ready to rush into things. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just think I think everything went very well. And I think it was really important and brave of Demi to open up like that, because she's getting a lot of backlash from people, which is sad. I mean, that's
That
sad.
is.
I
Why?
mean, like,
for
just
what?
For being bi and for like, I mean, being fluid. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I know there's a lot of I don't even want to say conservative, because that's putting labels on people, but I know there's people out there that just aren't comfortable with it or whatever, and like, that's fine. Like, you don't have to be comfortable or whatever with homosexuality or things like that, but like, just be respectful of people and be respectful of Demi's choice. Like, she was like posting a lot of like things that people were saying to her, like, I'm not going to watch the show because she's on it, or just, and they're ruining TV, just really rude things. That's just like, you don't have to agree with it, but just be nice. Like, just be nice to her. She's a human being. She's a young girl. She's trying to figure stuff out. Like, like, just respect it. And like, it's not like it's like, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing like happening on screen that she's just talking about herself. Like, but
yeah,
anyway,
people need to stay in their own lane, as I've heard so many people say on this show. Stay in your own lane.
Well, anything else before we wrap up?
Oh, ma'am. That sums it up pretty good, and I'm stoked for next week for sure.
Oh yeah, I think this was a great 2 episodes. I'm super excited. I hate that they leave us on cliffhangers, but I also understand why they leave us on cliffhangers. Yeah. I'm so intrigued to see we have 4 guys going home next week. And they said that there's going to be the most shocking rose ceremony ever. So I have no idea what's going to happen. But I'm excited to see. And
I got a question real quick.
Go ahead.
I don't know if I asked this last week. I meant to, but and if I did, forgive me. But last week the guys were in control and they had a cocktail party just before the rose ceremony, right?
Yes.
So does that mean that what we saw last night was a vagina tail party?
Oh my gosh.
Woo! I had to get that one in there. Anyway.
Well, on that note, J Wade, where can people follow you for more interesting insights and humor?
Y'all can follow me on the Twitter at JWade1134. That is the letter J, WADE 1134.
And you can find me on Twitter at SCBock, so SSEABOCK. And you can find this show and more at Merc with a Movie Blog feed on SoundCloud, Spotify, Stitcher, Apple, and Google Play. We also have our episodes on YouTube on the Merc with a Movie Blog channel. Thank you for watching. Go get that rose, and we will see you next week. Bye. Maybe not watching. You didn't watch us, but it's fine.